Hi Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 6th Mars trans Pluto reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Leo. How will Leo be affected by Mars trans Pluto? September 6, 2021. Angels. Ooh, goodness. And spirit guides. There we go. Just popped right out. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. I love that. Your cards are so decisive. It's like, this is how I'm coming forward. This is what needs to be seen. And that's how we're going to be during this time here, Leo, because it is an intense time. It is a time of intense focus and just ferocity of spirit, because we do have Mars. Mars is, of course, in Roman mythology, is the god of war from Greek mythology, which is Aries. And so here we have that tenacity, we have that fierceness coming forward, and then we have the healing power of Pluto also coming forward. So they make a beautiful balance to each other. Now, at our rooted energy here is the sun. So there's just this beautiful, shining power to us during this time that we really do need to embrace if we want to make the most out of this time and not second guess ourselves or let ourselves, let our confidence be taken away by others. Others can have their opinions, and that's great, but they get their life to live and we get our life to live. And that's just a fact. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And this is the craftsman of water. This is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. This is the night of water, and this is a sense of I am releasing, I am becoming, and I am embracing, what I emotionally need, and I'm calling forward the rains. I'm calling forward the emotional richness within my life. So in our inner self, that's going to be fantastic. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is feeling like we're going into a new stage of being, but we're not. We kind of feel like things should be changing, but what is powerful during this time is that this time is to focus on where we are right now, and maybe to prepare. And it's a bit to prepare for the season that will come, but it's to understand where I stand now and how I get to move forward in my power, in my intuition, in my brilliance of me. Because what Mars trans Pluto does is it increases our intuition and our development of our intuition and our psychic abilities. So we're going to think, okay, I have to move on to the next best thing. I know I have to move on to something new. And this is a time that's saying, no, you don't. Connect with you, connect with where you stand. And that's especially for the heart, because we're calling forward emotional brilliance and emotional prosperity. Now, it leads us to judgment. It leads us to this rising out of doubt and fear and darkness into a place of beauty and connection, into a place of power and prosperity. And this isn't something that we necessarily thought of during this time. This isn't something where we think, oh, okay, on the 6th of September with Mars trans Pluto, all of a sudden I'm going to rise out of darkness. I'm going to be able to see things so much clearly. Things are going to be able to fall into place. But there's going to be something that pulls us if we let it, if we connect with divinity, if we connect with the universe and we say, this is what I need for myself, this is how I want to move forward, this is who I am. And then all of a sudden, there's a ferocity to us that we could not have imagined before. Now with before we get into everything that Mars trans Pluto has to offer, let's look at the energy we have to be mindful of and see how that correlates to everything, angels and spirit guides. See, again, everything's just falling right into place, and that's how it's going to be. A little bit kind of feeling out of our control, Leo, and that's not something that we like, but that is something that we're going to have to be mindful of. Now we have the Prince of Swords. The Prince of Swords is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The Prince of Swords is this sense of, I need to go, and I need to get it done. That's going to be our feeling during this time because there's such an intense energy around us and such a strong will and sense of determination for success. And it's like, if I waste any time, if I waste this one day, I will never have this opportunity for success again. And that's just not true. What's happening here is we're aligning ourselves with success and power and understanding and brilliance and cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. And if we take that and say, okay, now I get to move forward in my tenacity, in what I desire, in who I am, we can utilize this to be absolute superheroes during this time. But what we can also do is we can be so impatient and so willing to just jump into everything that we forget what we're going after. And we can be really drawn in by people who are just like, I have to act now, I have to act now, I have to act now. Things need to be a little bit calmer. Things need to be a little bit more centered. And that will bring us tremendous power and tremendous abundance. So do be mindful of that energy during this time. Now our chakra energy is angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Flexibility, I love that. Now this is the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is one of my favorite chakras just because it's complex. And I don't like anything that's a little bit too straightforward. I like the complexity of it. So the sacral chakra is where our creative sexual energy is held, which is awesome. But it's also where all the dramas from this life and from past lives are held. Now this is a position, a pose of wisdom. We're calling forward wisdom as we're calling forward the flexibility of our mind, spirit, soul, and self. As we embrace the sacral chakra, we start to embrace who we are. We start to see that there isn't necessarily one way of doing things. And we start to become more flexible with the way that we judge our success, the way that we see ourselves, the doors that we had closed to ourselves. And now we're saying, but this is me. It's not going to be when I lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds that I start something. It's not going to be when I'm more confident within myself or when I feel like the stars are just perfectly aligned always. It's going to be this time is, this is what I want, this is what I need, and this is who I am. And I need to be flexible within myself. It's not when I meet the right person or have the perfect job. It's when I start to see perfection within myself, or I start to see loving kindness within myself. To expand on that creative energy, to let that sensual energy of expression and self come forward. And not all the doubts and fears that are passed down to us from generation to generation. They come in curses. I put curses because what a curse is somebody speaking negativity over us when we are small, when we are vulnerable, and it growing within our mind and within ourselves. This is a time where we need to let the sun shine, where we need to let the darkness out. Now, with Mars trans Pluto, this is going to be a time where Mars acts on Pluto's evolutionary desire and evolutionary drive to heal, transform, and rebuild. And that's what we're doing during this time. Even though we're so focused on success and we're so focused on the way that we want to move forward, it's not saying that we're going to get the ego in the way, but we do have to be mindful of it. Because this is a time where we can move forward in success and prosperity and power and purpose without being held back at all. And with really being able to say, this is who I am, without the ego getting in the way, which is brilliant. But if we get too caught up with, it has to be at this time, it has to be this way, it has to be, we can get caught up in the ego, and that can just kind of make everything fall apart for us. So do be mindful of that, Leo. This is also time for easy expression of desires, passions, wants, and how to work those into our everyday self, into our everyday energy. Instead of having it be separate. It's kind of like, this is my desire, this is my want, this is what I am passionate about, and kind of like putting on these different hats to show who we are. It's like, no, this is the energy of me, the creative, beautiful, powerful, passionate energy of me, and I step into it fully compassionately, and kindly. With Mars trans Pluto, this brings a time of change, and this brings everything into focus that we need to change or that we want to change and how we want to see ourselves. And this helps us to realize our purpose. This helps us to say, but this is me. And as we say, this is me, we embrace the aura of the energy around us. We embrace the way the world feels within us and how the door is opened. And this helps us to embrace the aura of sexual, sensual power, of power in and of itself, and of passion. To say, this is my being, this is my soul, this is myself. And it brings us to the sun. It brings us to shining with a passionate light. It brings us to saying, I'm not going to diminish myself. I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to move forward with confidence and success. To say, this is who I am, this is what I want, and this is where I need to be. The sun shines within me. And when the sun shines within us, especially when it roots us, when this warm, beautiful light roots us, people take us by eyes. People say, you can't do this. You don't get to be. Yes, you do. You get to be the powerful, brilliant, purposeful person that you are. And let that light shine in. It moves us to the craftsman of water. It moves us to our inner self, being able to create and cultivate and call forward what we love within our lives. It might take a bit of work. It might take chanting for a very long time, but it connects us with our hearts. It connects us with what we greatly desire. And with that intention put forward so passionately, so fervently, so connectedly, all of a sudden the rains start to come. All of a sudden the dryness starts to leave. And this leads us to a place where we start to see ourselves more and more and more. Where we start to understand what we want, what we desire, and who we are at a heart level. Not who we are at the level that we tell people. I am a XYZ. I do XYZ. Does that tell us who we are? I fix cars. I'm a surgeon. I'm, a secretary. I'm an accountant. Does this tell people who we are, or does it tell people what we do? What we do here is embrace our passion and our desire to say, I am creative. I am innovative. I am spectacular. I call forward that which is beautiful for me. And I let myself embrace that energy. It moves us to the Wheel of Fortune reversed. We're not going into a new season. We need to be in the season that we are right now, even if we don't like it. Sometimes it's not about doing what you like. It's doing what you need to do in order to get to where it is that you want to be. It was one of my mother's favorite things to say. My mom always was like, you have to get done what needs to get done. And so here, with the Wheel of Fortune, we're embracing that sense of transformation, that sense of understanding, that sense of there's something more coming, but I need to be here now. And it's kind of like I need to look at things differently because the poor little birdie right here is upside down. And the other bird is upside down as well. So instead of being right side up and seeing everything the same way, we need to start seeing things differently. We need to start calling in transformative power, transformative understanding to open up the door. And as we open up that door, it leads us to judgment. It leads us to a place where we rise out of darkness, doubt, and despair, where we start to hear the call of spirit guiding us forward, leading us to what we want, to what we love, to who we are, and who we need to be. Judgment comes in. And instead of judging ourselves, which is something that we could easily do during this time, because we are so determined to increase and to succeed and to move forward in power, that we forget anything else but being judgy to ourselves and being judgy to others. The passion of what we want can just supersede everything. With judgment, now we step into our power of understanding, our power of beauty and brilliance and purpose. And we start to rise out of the box we put ourselves in, the box we were put in when we were very small and didn't have a say against it. And now we start to see ourselves rising higher. And excuse me. As I sneeze, I do apologize about that. It leads us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And that is the Princess of Cups. Water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. This is an energy where emotionally we can feel very needy. And that's not a bad thing. Sometimes we do need people to lean on. But we need to make sure that we're leaning on the right people and not the people we think are supposed to support us. This is a time also where we need to be very mindful of our emotional field because we have the mind and we have the heart. And both these things are the abstract. We're not going to be as focused with the physical world as we usually are. This is going to be a time where we're saying, I want more, and that more comes from within. And as I embrace more and as I understand more, I can become a student of that. I can become a student and open up the door. I can start to drink deeply of the passion and the beauty and the power that is me. And as we do this, we start to own and honor ourselves. It leads us to our subconscious chakra message, which is the inner child, the heart chakra. Now, whenever the inner child comes up, I love the exercise of just visualizing yourself with the child that you were. And that child that you were, not in the time where everything was going right, not in the time where everything was falling into alignment, but in that time where you felt awkward, where you felt completely alone, where you felt like nobody understood you. And as children, we always have that, either as children or as teens. And hold your arms open to that person who was misunderstood, who wasn't seen, who was ignored. And say, I'm here for you. I will always listen to you. I will always love you. And I will always help you to be the person that you need to be, to embrace the power that you have, and to step into your glory. And as we do this, we see ourselves more and more and more. Instead of thinking that was what was wrong with me, that's my shame, we say, that's my power. I've had to do this. When I was 8, I felt like I had a fairy tale life up until 8. And then everything just started to fall apart. And it kept on falling apart. And when I do this exercise with the heart chakra, it is so powerful that it seems so silly, but it is so powerful and so profound. And it leads us to our subconscious rooted energy. And that's judgment coming through again. Here we have to ask ourselves the simple question, is my heart lighter than a feather? Or am I carrying around weight and hurt and pain and disappointment? Am I carrying around things that keep me held back and keep me denied? When judgment comes in, Anubis, when the ancient Egyptians were judged, right, when they passed on, Anubis judged their hearts against feathers. That's what was the tradition. And as the heart was judged against a feather, if their heart was lighter than the feather, they were let into paradise. And if it wasn't, they were denied. Do not deny your heart paradise, because it carries around too great a weight. It's time to embrace love. It's time to embrace forgiveness, not of others, but of ourselves. And it's time to say, I deserve happiness. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that is the witch of earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And we're born on the cusp with Virgo. Or we have Virgo within our chart, our earth sign energy within our chart. It's coming through very powerfully in our subconscious. We need things to be rooted. We need things to be guided towards what we have, the seeds that we have planted, what we desire to create and cultivate and understand within ourselves. It leads us then to a greater sense of power, a greater sense of connection with the earth. If we could do grounding with the earth, walking barefoot or walking in barefoot shoes on the earth, that's really going to help center us, balance us, connect us. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self. And this is the 9 of Swords. Nightmares, doubts, fears, hardships, pains, disappointments. We're not looking towards the future. We're looking right here, right now. And we're seeing every reason why we shouldn't. And that's so human. And we're not seeing every reason why we should. People don't get to decide we failed or decide we can't. We get to move forward in our passion, in our determination, and in our focus. This is saying, I see the nightmares. I see the fear. I see the hurt. I see the pain. I see the overwhelming emotion. I get it. But I'm not defined by it. And I am not consumed by it. It moves us. Because it's the fight or flight emotion, right? And in our modern world, that's hard to deal with. In ancient times, or not that distant future, the fight or flight kept us alive. You know, we had to fight or we had to run away. Now we have stresses and we have anxieties and we have, things that make our life more complicated, but also make our life easier. We can't fight it because it's abstract, and we can't run away from it because it's always with us. The words of other people always tumble through our heads. The internet can't be fought. The gossip of others cannot be fought. And so we look at what we're afraid of. We look at what overwhelms us. And we see it openly and honestly for what it is. Something we cannot control. But something that we are looking at and saying, you do not have any control over me. I do have the control of how I respond to you. It then leads us to our subconscious public arena self. And this is the 6 of Swords. This is being able to move forward. This is being able to go after what we want. I love the little sugar glider right there, just coming through and saying, I'm here. You know, I'm here and I'm going and I'm creating and I'm becoming, or it's a flying squirrel, whatever one you want. But you're embracing your dreams and your tenacity and what you desire and what you want. And it's not going to be an easy road, but nothing is. And in the public arena, it's like, I have to move forward. I have to see what becomes. I have to see what I become. All right, Leo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace our passion, our determination, and our glorious, rejoicing light. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Leo.